The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts,
Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
Here we are on a Monday. It is Free Agent Monday. All right, NFL teams come Wednesday they can start signing free agents. Today, you can basically start your little backdoor conversations with the agents and the players.
Oh, yeah.
And the NFL, I mean, here it is March Madness, but the NFL push March Madness aside. We want some spotlight here.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, I want some spotlight here.
He's back.
Basketball guys can have to wait a little bit, but by the way, the NCAA tournament is in Fort Worth this weekend.
Nice. What, about TCU?
Well, TCU is the host, but they're having it at Dickies Arena.
Okay. All right.
Second Bears.
So, yes, Baylor
will be there.
Baylor, number one seed, they'll be there. North Carolina Tar Heels are going to be there. Hubert Davis, former Dallas Maverick. He's the head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels. So, yeah. So
is there any at Jerry World usually does like the Sweet 16? There's none of they ain't getting it this year.
No.
That was a good spot.
This is all Dickies.
Okay.
So yeah.
Dickies.
What seed did Pembroke get?
You know what? We are a 4 seed and we won our tournament game in Division II.
All right.
Did y'all know Toledo? I think Toledo's in it.
I
think Toledo's in it, man.
We won our conference. We won Conference Carolinas. Chris, you got any more jokes? Go ahead.
Shots been fired early on the show today.
$5 rear end right on down. That's right. The Braves win, son. Braves win. Beat Flagler. We moving on in the tournament. Okay, let us dive into many Dallas Cowboys topics. He is Barry Church, the Toledo Rocket. Joining us, filling in for Danny McCray, is Anthony Spencer, former first-round draft pick with the Dallas Cowboys from Purdue University.
Boilermaker.
Yes. If your basketball team can finally make the Final Four, win a championship, man.
We'll see, man. They got some players out there. We'll see what they can do in the tournament.
All right, I'm Newy Scruggs, just merely Newy Scruggs here. These gentlemen here, they're the players, so they're going to bring you their expertise here for an hour. And then we got Sideshow Chris Beam in the background, ready to lob jokes.
Yeah. Best producer in the game.
Lots of
jokes. By the way, I lied. We in the NIT. I lied. I thought it's all good.
You're a football.
Go Rockets, man. Go Rockets. That's it.
You guys in UNOU.
Damn, CB.
It's all good. Okay, well, lots to get to. Why don't we just start with the wide receivers, okay?
Let's do it.
Amari Cooper is going to be traded. Will not happen until later this week, officially, but he's going to Cleveland. So it's for a 5th-round pick. The Browns and the Cowboys swapped 6th-round picks here. Coop due $20 million. Cowboys didn't want to pay it. They saved $16 million under the cap. So, gentlemen, thumbs up or thumbs down? I'll make it that simple for you. Thumbs up or thumbs down on this trade? I'm going to start with you, Barry Church.
For me, with the Cowboys situation, I'm going to say it's a tough one for me because – you let Cooper go, and to me, I thought he was the number one receiver. I mean, he didn't get a lot of chances last year, and for the most part last year, he didn't show that he was a number one, but I still believe he has number one left in the tank. And for them to trade that away, they must have a lot of confidence in the receivers they have left on the roster. I mean, like we heard Gallup might be or should be signing that extension. Hopefully it'll get Ced Wilson back. But to me, that hurts the pass game overall because even though Cooper – he didn't put up crazy, ridiculous numbers that warranted that $20 million deal, but he opened things up for other people, and I feel like a lot of the attention now is going to go towards CeeDee Lamb, go towards Michael Gallup, go towards Ced Wilson, and I don't know if they're ready for that type of that type of pressure on them. I mean, being a number one receiver, it's a tough duty. So I think this might be a thumbs down for the Dallas Cowboys, but certainly a thumbs up for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're getting, I think, a very, very solid receiver that has a lot left in the tank. You put him in there with that great running game that they have in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You put him in there with Baker Mayfield, and they got a good offensive line. So I think it's a thumbs up for Cleveland, but for Dallas, I'm going to go thumbs down because I did not want to see Amari Cooper go, but hey, at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to make decisions.
Yeah, I feel like the same way. He brought a lot of double teams to his side. He had brought a lot of attention to his side, so it opened up the field for the other wide receivers to make plays. So with that being gone, it's going to put a lot of pressure on those young guys to be able to perform. And when you get out there and you making plays when you got the other guy on the other side, but when you get that pressure and that ball is like you got all that pressure to make those plays and to carry the team. It's a whole nother monster. So the time will tell. It will either make diamonds out of the other receivers or it's going to bust the pipe. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
$20 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of bread. It's a lot of bread.
And when you say a lot of bread, let me break it down into more terms. It's over $1 million a game.
Yeah.
Is he bringing you $1 million a game in production?
See, that's the only thing. That's the thing that I'm like, okay, it's kind of all right because he wasn't. I'll put it like that. He was not giving you $20 million worth of game out there. And a lot of that had to do with the scheme as well. I mean, he wasn't getting a lot of looks or a lot of targets as well. So I can't put it all on Amari Cooper for not being productive because there was a lot of games where he might have only got, 3 targets, 2 targets here and there. So I can't put it all on his plate. But at the end of the day, you are correct, Newy, in my opinion. He wasn't putting that $20 million worth of game on the football field. So the Cowboys had to make a decision.
$1.3 million a game. My bad.
Ooh, a little bit over.
Because remember, he missed 2 games because of COVID. He wouldn't get that shot. So yeah, $1.3 million. That's.
And when it comes down to it, Cowboys always really make good business decisions, and that's really what this is. I feel like is a business decision. Was he bringing that revenue to each one of the games? Probably not, but the other things that, like the double teams, open up the field for the other players. Like you really can't see that happening in the game. Like that's not making a play. Yeah. So it's those things that you don't see that he was really bringing. And is that worth $1.3 million a game?
Yeah. So you got to decide. Like it's tough because then you look at it now. Okay. Teams were starting to, towards the end of the year, they were starting to play that kind of umbrella coverage where they had the 2 high safeties back deep, and they were like, look, Dak, you're going to have to check it down or make accurate throws through our zone to be able to beat us. And we weren't able to do that. They weren't able to do that. So that's a tough one. Do you put it more on his lack of production? Do you put it more on the scheme and Kellen Moore's scheme or the actual player?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore's scheme, okay.
Kellen Moore. I mean, how many times are we watching Sean McVay, and I was there at the Super Bowl, so it was just amazing in that fourth quarter because Cooper Kupp made so many plays.
Yeah, he was balling.
Okay,
it's like how?
How
is he doing it?
Come around on the sweep, coming on across.
Yeah.
Go. I mean, it was all right. Yeah. So that whole final fourth quarter was about Stafford to Cooper. That was it. So we've seen an offensive coordinator
scheme
him up.
Yeah.
Okay. We've seen DeAndre Hopkins. We've seen Devontae Adams. Yeah. I mean, we just see dudes out here who are getting ball. Back when Antonio Brown was with Ben Roethlisberger, you knew what was coming. Good luck stopping it. Calvin Johnson when he was with Matt Stafford. I mean, there are ways and we've seen number 1 guys get used. Even Michael Thomas when he had Drew Brees at their New Orleans.
Broke the record.
So for $1.3 million, if your offensive coordinator is not going to figure out a way to scheme him up, then I don't think you're doing justice to the receiver or doing justice to the scheme. Now, I feel bad for Amari Cooper because Baker Mayfield's not that guy.
And he's going to Cleveland. I mean, just think about it. It's Dallas, Cleveland, Baker, Dak. I mean, it's just you're outside in the conditions.
If I'm Amari Cooper,
it'd be hot. It would be cold.
Right.
You'd be cold like Erie.
You from Florida, went to Alabama, started your career with the Raiders in California, you go to Texas, and now they're going to send you up here to Cleveland to catch passes from a dude they don't even want to give a multi-year contract to. Yeah. Number 1 overall pick. They're like, we don't know if we're going to pick up that option. So unless they go bring in Deshaun Watson in a trade, and good luck trying to get Deshaun Watson to wait for to you.
And their calls are going out 3 first round here. Like, I'm like, man.
Right.
I mean, the price is sky.
And of course, the crazy thing is Cleveland passed on Deshaun Watson twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How smart are they? So I feel bad. I feel bad for Amari Cooper. I still think he's a good player. I hate the fact that he's leaving.
Yeah.
But $1.3 million in a financial, that's a lot of money.
And as a number 1 receiver, you kind of love guys like this in your locker room that he wasn't really getting a lot of targets. He wasn't getting all that, but you rarely heard anything from him. I mean, we saw the 2 instances where he was like, if I get the ball more, I can help this team out. Right. But it wasn't like a, how my boy Dez used to be like,
go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Okay,
it was a different type of passion. It had a different type of passion.
And you really can't bring that type of leadership. It's really what it is leadership to the locker room. Like he's been through it. He's been that number 1 receiver. Like he's been through a lot of different games. He's seen a lot of different coverages, how people are going to cover him. So he brought a different to the Cowboys that they don't have now. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's gonna come. We'll see if it shows through or if it won't.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so Amari Cooper on his way to Cleveland. Michael Gallup stays. He was coming up on free agency. Had that horrible ACL tear January 2nd when he went up for a touchdown catch and he made it against the Arizona Cardinals. 5 years, $62.5 million is what's being reported. He missed 7 games due to a calf injury last year. That Tampa Bay game had that, then missed the next 7 games. Played in 8 last year. In 4 seasons with the Cowboys, 193 catches for 2,992 yards, 15 touchdowns. Had a 1,000-yard season in 2020. $27 million is in guaranteed money. $10 million signing bonus, and he had the ACL surgery in February. So anybody looking for Michael Gallup to start Week 1, I would tell you don't look for that. That would be unrealistic.
And that to me, that's. I think it was smart on his behalf. Because, like you said, he might not be ready for Week 1. So if you go to a different team, you don't know that training staff, you don't know that team, you don't know how they work with you during the offseason, how they're going to bring you back towards the team. I mean, you got to, get a whole new leadership value with that team. Right. So I think it was a smart move by him. You know the team, you know the guys in the training room, you know they're going to get you back as healthy as possible, and they're going to let you take your time with coming back. Right. So that was definitely a solid move on him, and I think by the Cowboys as well. I mean, I looked at that number, I said, whoa, 5 for 62. I'm hold on, this guy coming off of ACL. But then when you really looked at the numbers, it boils down to, like Newy said, to really kind of a 2-year, 27 guaranteed overall, very team friendly. I think overall the whole thing is like 12 and a half a year, which I thought he was going to get closer to 16 a year. So I think it's a very team-friendly deal. If he ends up coming back healthy and blowing up and, playing out the whole 5 years, I think it'll be a great value for the squad. So I think they both worked with each other on this one, so I think it's a good deal overall. But to me, it's all going to boil down to whether or not CeeDee Lamb can be that guy, because I honestly don't think Michael Gallup is a number 1. I think he's a great number 2, kind of a 1B situation, but I think if it's all on him, I don't think this passing attack is going to be as dynamic as it was in the past. So I think this deal pretty much sums up. If CeeDee Lamb can be that guy and Gallup can be a solid number 2, I think we have a great pass production. But if it's all on Gallup, I think it's going to be a tough situation.
So, Spence, I want to throw it to you. Coming off ACL.
Yeah,
wide receiver.
Yeah, when I was coming off my knee surgery and I came back and I played a year with the Cowboys with the same, I was able to recover and get all that work in with the same training staff. But then I went to New Orleans and it was a whole different type of training. It plays an effect on your body. So you have to being with the same training staff and going through the offseason and then being able to have this contract, what gives him a little bit more security and comfortability and believing in itself, putting that ownership on himself to come back and perform at that high level. So I really believe that's going to be a good deal for him and for the Cowboys, just because they're giving him a little bit of rope to get better and to become a better player. At the same time, he's got to have that trust in the Cowboys with them signing him back. So we'll see. I mean, I think that he's going to be back and doing great, because even when he tore his ACL making that catch, you can see the resilience that he had as a player. Even with the injuries that he had this past year with the hurt calf, that's part of the ACL, or not the ACL, but just being in football. Just being able to go through those injuries and come back. Availability is always the key to this game. So I feel like that's what we'll see. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's for me. That's the question. Okay, you signed him for 5 years. Got the ACL. You hear people say it'll take you a good year to get back to where you were. So now you're talking 4 years. What are you going to really get out of the deal? So there's a lot of hope on this. There's a lot of hope with this deal. Hey, you're hoping he goes back to what he was. You're hoping he could be the number 2. There are no guarantees.
Yeah, not at all. With that deal being said, do you feel like these guys should go get a wide receiver early in the draft?
No.
No? Spence, what about you?
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I don't think so. I think the CeeDee Lamb and just had the continuity of the people that they have in the locker room right now. You can't keep bringing in new and hoping that. It's all over again. So you just got to kind of build with what you have, and people that are in the tight end that they just signed to the franchise deal.
Schultz,
him coming back and having that opportunity. I feel like that's going to be huge for their passing game as well. Okay. So
let me just ask you guys: give me your top 3 wide receivers in the game right now.
Ooh.
Just in your mind, just comes to your mind right now. We just mentioned Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would go Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
That's what I would go.
Okay.
I like Cooper Kupp a lot. Definitely Devontae Adams.
Okay.
And I'm not sure.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine. That's
yeah.
fine. Okay. And just here's the exercise with not one of those guys a first round pick.
Right.
That's very
Cooper
true.
Kupp's a third round pick. Adams and Diggs are second round picks.
Yeah.
The Packers have made a living not taking guys in the first round in terms of wide receivers. They just won't do it.
See how mad Aaron Rodgers is about that.
And so I bring that up to you. Say, look, you can find these guys in later rounds. Chris Godwin's not a first round pick, while Mike Evans is. Michael Thomas, they had those great years in New Orleans. He's not a number one guy. So you can get those guys. You've invested in CeeDee Lamb. He's still got a rookie deal here. You just paid Gallup. I think you could, to me, if I'm the Cowboys, either address your front seven on defense or you address your offensive line in the first round here. Your center is still too light. Your left guard's probably leaving in free agency. Leighton Vander Esch is going to be on the move, I believe. And so someone next to Micah Parsons, depending on what happens with Randy Gregory and whatever you decide to do with Tank Lawrence, you need to go ahead and look at the edge rush. Yeah. And would you ever have too many good defensive linemen up front who can stop the run? No. So to me, a wide receiver, I can.
That's on the back burner.
That's on the back burner.
Well, back burner, and also every year, the market's going to get flooded with them.
Right.
So
that's also true.
Cooper is signed. Cooper's the deal's going to go to he's going to go to the Browns in a trade. And what do we see the Browns tell Jarvis Landry? Hey man, go ahead and look for a trade. Go ahead.
They did tell him.
Thank you. I mean, there are going to be dudes out here.
Yeah.
Not that I would want this player, but you got Antonio Brown on the podcast about, hey Jerry, come get me, Jerry.
Man, what are we going to do with Antonio? Man?
Right. So I mean, you can go get some veteran players.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You can get some guy. So if Gallup's not going to be ready week one, in my opinion, so he's not ready to go. Maybe you bring back Cedric Wilson. Who knows? We'll see there.
We'll see. He might have priced himself out.
So if you've got CeeDee Lamb, you add someone else here on a one-year deal who can catch some footballs from Dak Prescott in an offense that's put up numbers here. I think they could go and get someone. And, maybe you spend the second, third round, fourth rounder on a wide receiver. Yeah. But I just feel like the Cowboys, from a defensive standpoint, could use another player in the front seven, and the offensive line needs to get fixed.
Yeah, the offensive line definitely needs to get fixed. And when you're talking about those receivers later in rounds that kind of became really good receivers, they got some pretty good quarterbacks behind them. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, who he made Allen Lazard. Then you got Josh Allen making, what's the number? Gabriel, I think he had 4 touchdowns in that playoff game. So they got some great quarterbacks back there to help them out. The question I got to ask both of y'all is, do you think Dak Prescott can be that quarterback that elevates
Gonna have to
a
be.
5th round, 6th round receiver into being something good? Do you think he can be that guy?
Like you said, I feel like he has to be, especially in this league that it is today. Like it's the quarterbacks that really drives the franchise. You know what I mean? And if you want to have a great franchise, you're going to have to depend on your quarterback to be that player for you. So he's going to have to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and once again, I go across this league. I mean, DK Metcalf was a first-round pick. Tyler Lockett wasn't a first-round pick. They played well in Seattle. Keenan Allen has had an outstanding career with the Chargers. He wasn't a first-round pick.
Was Deebo Samuel?
No, he was not a first-round pick.
Like all the top receivers out there.
Tyreek Hill, not a first-round pick. I mean, look, there's some good players who are. But it's just, you can win in this league without them. You don't have to have a number one in terms of a wide receiver. I mean,
that's very true.
There's so much of it is about the system. So much about the system and how you're using. I mean, Terry McLaurin out in Washington, I think he's a really fine receiver. I mean, he's another guy who's a second-round pick. So you can go get some dudes.
Well, let me rephrase it then. Can we win with this system that we have as an offensive system?
You've won. But are you going to win a championship?
That's the goal. That not just getting to the first round or getting to the second round ain't gonna cut it here.
What are you, 32, Church?
34.
You're 34.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so for 26 years of those 34, they haven't won anything.
They haven't won anything. That's what I'm saying.
They going on 26 years, church. So most of your life.
At least get to the championship round.
They've been in the desert most of your life. Searching.
Flashlight.
For this oasis.
That's it.
Okay? Where the Lombardi is.
You've seen a couple of mirages here and there, but nothing too.
So when people ask me to do these radio shows, and they'll ask me about, the Cowboys championship, I'm like, why do this? Why do we talk about? How about this? How about just get to a championship game?
That's all I'm asking.
Just get out the divisional round because they haven't been able to do that. I mean, to talk about championships is to me, it's just kind of crazy because they've been so far from it. So the question is not, is truly, do you have a championship office? I don't know. And clearly, the owner put the bullseye on the head coach. Better get done this year.
And that's another thing. How you put all this pressure on McCarthy and then you take away his number one receiver. Yeah.
What did he do with the number one receiver last year?
That's true, because he wasn't. They didn't let him call the plays.
But still, overall, do you feel like Amari Cooper was used properly? How many times did we do this Players Lounge show? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He was not used properly.
Okay. So how do you go in there and beat the table down and say, hey man, I need this dude for $1.3 million a game? You're not really using him. He's not getting up D-Hop numbers. He's not Jordan Jefferson in Minnesota. So you start to look at this and it gets tough. But this is the National Football League, man. Yeah. He's not the only coach going into next year that's going to, feel the heat, but do something.
That's why if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm going into this thing. If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. I'm calling the play. Give me the play call sheet. You know what? I need all this. Give it to me. I'm not going to go down for somebody else. Exactly. You got to.
And I feel like that's the hardest part about the Cowboys with Jerry Jones and the family, just because they are they're a business. It's a business. They make money, and each year the Cowboys make more money than anybody.
Yeah.
And that's there, and it comes from the top. That's how we're slated. We're here to make the money. Is it really about the winning the games, or is it about making more money? So when you do it like that, it's like you have to give the coaches and the people the power to make those plays, make those decisions, to put the ownership on them so that you can fire them and then get rid of them if they're not doing what they need to be doing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now I've heard this same thing when I've done interviews across the country. I'll come back into this, Anthony. Jerry Jones gave Mike McCarthy a heck of a roster last year. You're in a division that was not good, that you swept. Okay, you swept the division. Okay, averaged 40 points against NFC East teams, 26 points against anybody else. You got a home game, your spot against the Niners, who walk out with a huge boombox in your building to go take the field. You put your offense out on the field, the Niners smack that down in 3 plays. They go take the football on offense, and they go right down the field and punch you in the mouth with a quarterback with a bad thumb.
Yeah.
You got 14 some odd penalties in the football game, played, and then with 2:42 to go, you gave your quarterback, who you gave all that money to, the football with an opportunity to go down the field and win it. He didn't do it, and then the clock ran out. How much is that Jerry Jones and family, and how much is that Mike McCarthy and his staff?
Look, I'm not putting anything on Jerry Jones and the family. I'm just saying ish rolls downhill. You know what I mean? It starts from the top. And if your main concern is your main concern, then, and if you're getting that done, then you're winning. So it's not really, you have to change what the...
But you've won. Okay, my thing, you won. Okay, they had a winning team last year. You won the East.
But the goal is not to win the East. The goal is not to control that section. The goal is to be the best team in the NFL.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and that started with you facing San Francisco.
Right.
And the team, okay, McCarthy comes out to talk about, we were nervous.
Now that's on the head coach. I'll give you that. That's on the head. Penalties. That's on the head coach.
Quarterback hand the ball to the center, not to the rest.
Mojo moments.
Those are the players that you're putting out. Like, who's drafting the players? Who's putting the team together? Where is the real ownership of the team? Who runs the team?
Okay, great point. And I'll say this: draft. I don't have any complaints about what the Cowboys do in terms of drafting. Their drafts are good.
Right.
They've been hitting it.
When you talk about looking at Pro Bowl players and homegrown Pro Bowl players, I mean, they're one of the best in the league at drafting. Now, here's a question I have. I look at the Zeke contract. You gave $90 million and set the market for a running back, and then you hired a head coach who wants to throw the football.
My boy's
That
in the
right,
lab.
that right there, to me, doesn't make sense. That's a bad allocation of resources in terms of, what are we doing here?
But is
It's
it him?
it's a house divided.
Yeah.
It's like
because it's like it's Kellen Moore's scheme and system, but he has a shield in Mike McCarthy in front of him.
Now
who's taking the bullets.
Okay, so here's
So
my
that's what I'm saying.
here's my theory. Here's my theory on the Kellen Moore thing. Okay, so remember, Mike McCarthy got turned down by the Jets and the Browns. And you apply for the job here, and the Joneses told you how much they like Kellen Moore. They really like Kellen Moore. So what did Mike McCarthy say? I was going to hire Kellen Moore wherever I went because I really like Kellen Moore. So you say what you need to do to get the job.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, I'm just sitting here to myself. And then the whole offseason, the first year, you talk about we need to get run. We need to get some run balance here. And so here's McCarthy basically saying, "Hey man, stop throwing the ball so much." And then if you listen to McCarthy, you could hear at times he was like, "Can we run the ball here?" Because Kellen Moore, like Kansas City, you get too pass happy here. And so there, I have a point.
Same thing with Wade. And Garrett, it's been what it's been. Like, stop trying to say it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it starts from there and it goes like.
Bro, that was so bad. You just saw.
Was brutal.
I mean, that was
brutal.
That was so. When Jason didn't take that job and he got the new deal, you saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing the whole point
Play
about
over again.
Right
Yeah.
about here's Dan Quinn. Apparently Dan Quinn's contract is really rich that he got to stay. And now you got the head coach running around on Rich Eisen talking about, man, I don't like talking about Sean Payton.
That's why I'm like, why don't he take the reins?
So that point of it is they have created a circus on that end.
Why don't he take the reins? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a head coach, I'm not going down for someone else's failure to produce. Like, if it's me, I gotta go out. Okay, you're the offensive coordinator. You come to me with a scheme. All right, I see what you got going on, but I'm gonna call the plays. I'm gonna, dictate how the game flows. But with him, it's just like, there's Kellen over. Are you gonna call it? All right, he's calling it, and he got the little, face thing over his face or whatever. But to me, if I'm going down swinging with my own play calls, and if I fail, I'm gonna fail on my own, not somebody else's failure, and then we all lose at the end. So. Man, he got to take the reins this year. He got to.
He's got to. He's got to.
Are they going to let him?
He's got to find a way. He's got to find a way.
He got to find a way to get in there.
Yeah.
He got to find a way.
That is a very good point right there. You better find a way. Maybe Colin, please, you override it. No, we running on third down, right? Right? We running on third. This ain't no suggestion.
Yeah.
We running on third down.
It forced the hand. Like if you're going to tell them like this is what we're gonna do, then you're forcing management to say no. Give it back to Kellen.
Which you can do.
I think he can do that.
When I would talk to Gary Patterson when he was coaching at TCU and he ran the defense, but he would tell his offensive coordinators, hey, I want to run the ball on third down, or we're inside the red zone. You know what? We need to take some shots running the ball. So he would tell his coordinators, "Hey, look, this is what I want." Mm-hmm. I remember going back into, and you guys were little puppies back there, but 1992 NFC Championship game, San Francisco gets close, and Dallas has the ball. And instead of just running out the clock, Jimmy Johnson because Norv Turner says, "What do you want to do?" He says, "I want to win the game." And so Norv Turner throws the slant, hits Alvin Harper. He runs down there for about 60, 70-yard gain, and the Cowboys would end up running the football in. Emmitt Smith scored the touchdown. They win the Super Bowl. So Jimmy decided, hey, I want to gamble. But Jimmy had input on what he wanted to do.
What's going on,
so,
right.
So to me, if you're not going to call the plays, be up in there with some heavy suggestions about what it is you want.
Don't be nice. Stop being nice.
Yeah, the beating around the bush. Just go in there.
Yeah.
Because if not, either Sean Payton or Dan Quinn will be coaching you at this team next year, not you. So, hey, let's get a break in here. Players Lounge. Got Anthony Spencer filling in for Danny McCray. You got the man, the myth, the Toledo Rocket, the Hall of Fame. He's Barry Church. I'm Newy Scruggs. Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Attention, Cowboy fans. There's a new official razor of the Dallas Cowboys, Shave Logic. Shave Logic is proud to offer Cowboy fans a special upgrade for a limited time. Just visit shavelogic.com. Get a free $10 gift card with your purchase. Go to shavelogic.com right now. All right, you're the Players Lounge. This is a show about the players. Barry Church, former Dallas Cowboys safety. You got Anthony Spitzer, former first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Newy Scruggs. All right, we hit a lot in the first half, so we got another 30 minutes to go here. Let us dive into a guy that I've been wanting gone for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Greg Zuerlein, the kicker. Okay.
Zuerlein. Greg the leg? Old Hook'em left?
Greg. Man, missed 6 extra points this year. They saved $2.25 million. So what? He's gone. They gave him 3 years, over $7 million to be their kicker. No. Sorry.
Do you think they'll bring him, cut him and then bring him back on a lower? You see that look he got, man? Oh boy. No. The frustrations Zuerlein gave Cowboys Nation for that year was.
Okay. This is where Mike McCarthy need to step in and tell Bones, I know he's your boy, but I need my job.
Right. Okay. That's what he did to him.
Okay. I got Sark circling the water out here, man. Sean Payton over here. Got Dan Quinn right behind me. I mean, no. Your boy ain't done no. So right now,
we don't have any specialists. We don't.
You do.
Do we have a long snapper?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you don't have a long snapper.
Too.
You've got.
Shout out to LP, man. Where he at?
You got LP. Come on through.
Bring him back.
You do have a kicker. In February, they signed Chris. Chris Nagar from. It's AR, not ER. Nagar.
Okay. All right. We good.
Naggar.
There we go. Nagar.
Nagar, please. Come on in. Kick that 50-yard. He's from SMU.
He might have a #1 selling jersey.
Yeah, straight up.
Might make some rap videos of the Cowboys.
Him and Boss Man Fat, man. I'm telling you.
All right, Boss Man Fat.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
What are we doing?
So that's your field goal kicker. He was a Lou Groza Award finalist. Didn't win it, but he was over SMU, led the American in kicking. Now, it takes me back to when Dan Bailey was here. Dan Bailey was another guy, Oklahoma State. He might have won the Groza Award, but he was definitely a finalist for it. Ended up having a good career.
Yeah, it was about 5 years there, but he was
automatic.
On top. Yeah, he was automatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Kai Forbath came through here.
Mm-hmm.
Kai was over at UCLA, another dominant kicker, and I remember Dan beat him out, and then he went up to Washington and was around for a little bit. So these guys who are in this Groza Award conversation, give them an opportunity and they can kick. Sometimes it's not the first place they're kicking; it may be the second place. But overall, I say this to Zuerlein had his time. Move on. Older player dealing with injuries here. So maybe Nagar's the man. We'll see. But the opportunity, it's the Cowboys, man. And go find somebody.
Somebody will kick for you.
And I know people love to sit up here and say, well, they're on the street for a reason. You know what? This is
I
what
feel
you
like
have
it's different with kickers. Like even with Dan Bailey, he was here for a while, then we let him go, and he went somewhere else and performed Minnesota. Yeah. He performed there for a long time. So they lose that little bit of confidence or whatever.
Swing, it's like a golfer.
It's a golfer, exactly. Like you can start hooking them left.
Looking like me right now.
Try to find a way to get it back. And
Bones mentioned the whole golf thing with Zuerlein.
Compared him to Tiger Woods, didn't he? He compared the man to Tiger Woods.
So it was that week before the playoff game. He's like, I feel like he's close. He's about to get there. I feel like, and I asked her, I said, you're about to go to a playoff game and you're saying you think your kicker's close?
Right.
I mean, what kind of confidence you got in that? Job's on the line. We think.
Yeah.
Right? I think he's ready to go.
And that's the biggest thing about football, man. You got to stay consistent. Like being consistent in football is probably the hardest thing, but the most important thing. Yeah. And you got to have that in every position, most part.
Yeah. He said that, and then he was like, "Well, it's like golf, and he's like it's like Tiger Woods." And I said, "Tiger Woods is a Hall of Famer."
Arguably,
I don't think we even dude looking like Ricky Fowler out here. He ain't looking like Tiger Woods. Ricky ain't got no majors. Greg ain't got no majors up in here. Mm-hmm. And he did make the 51-yarder in the playoff game.
He did.
We all forgot about it, but he had so many misses along the way. I go back to the Thanksgiving.
Key misses too.
Right.
Key misses.
Tampa Bay, you leave 4 points out there in a game, you lose by a point. Then the Raider game. There's too many games where you needed your guy to do his part, not a hard part, just to do his part. And he could not do that. So Greg Zuerlein cut. Brian Anger, the punter, he's a free agent. Probably not bringing him back here. That's
a bowler too.
I really wish that they could figure out a way to get him back because
he was a weapon. I'm talking about flipping fields, man. He was able to punt it from the 20 and down it on the opposite 10, and that helped the defense out a lot.
Yeah,
because eventually, like our defense was so turnover hungry this year. Eventually, if they got those long drives, the offense might make a mistake, and this defense was able to capitalize on it. So Anger, he did a hell of a job this year, pinning those teams down deep. But like you said, I doubt they'll be able to bring him back, man.
Yeah.
And you guys play defense, and I think in a league now where everybody wants to go for it, this gives Mike McCarthy an excellent opportunity many times to say, let's just kick it. We'll kick it because this guy will flip the field. Let's send our defense out here and make someone – I don't know why you got these coaches now who don't want to make somebody go 70 and 65 yards. Yeah. Remember the first drive of the Super Bowl – Zach with the Bengals going to go for it at like the 48, 49 and didn't get it. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Game's changing.
It is.
And I'm just like looking at but I'm looking at this thing like, man, it's a Super Bowl with me in the first quarter, man. No. You got time, man. Kick it. Make them go down. But
analytics. Everything is everything is everything now.
Analytics got you watching the confetti for them instead of you getting it. Blake Jarwin. Tight end cut. Blake had hip surgery, saves $3.8 million in cap space. And another reason they could cut Blake Jarwin is because they decided to franchise Dalton Schultz, a free agent tag for a tight end, $10.9 million, so basically $11 million for Dalton Schultz. Your feeling on those two moves?
Cutting the injured player. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
They're going to work on the injury settlement.
Okay.
But he's going to recoup some money. But they let him go.
Yeah, but you putting the franchise tag on players that's been in your system, you know what they can do, you believe in them, you have confidence in them being able to do what they've been doing. So I think that's a good move by them. So.
To me, I was, I like what Dalton Schultz brings as far as, he's that complimentary guy. He's that kind of security blanket for Dak Prescott out there when things are break down. Oh, let me find him. He's there. He's going to make it. I don't think he's the most dynamic tight end out there. I think he's very Witten-esque as far as, yards after the catch and he just sound and what he's supposed to do. He's not a great blocker. I mean, we've seen that, throughout the entire year. He's not a great blocker, so he's more of a receiving tight end, but he's not a dynamic receiver. He's not a Kelsey. He's not a, the guy from San Francisco, Kittle. He's not one of those type of guys, or Darren Waller, that you can split out and he can, make defenses pay if you put the wrong guy. Right. Yeah, so I think he benefits more from the scheme, but if we're going to, put scheme over players like this organization has basically said they're going to do by getting rid of their number one receiver and basically saying the scheme is over the players. I think he fits well in this scheme and he could be productive. But to me, with that franchise tag, I think that just keeps him off the streets. Right. And I think they'll try to rework some deal to get him at a lower cap number. But, I think overall it could be a solid move for the Cowboys.
By the way, just to clear it up here, story right here on DallasCowboys.com. By being waived/injured, Jarwin qualifies for an injury settlement with the team, which allowed him to recoup some of his earnings. So he'll be able to get paid, but the Cowboys saved roughly $3.8 million in cap space while carrying a charge of only $2 million. If you don't give Schultz the tag, you're going to allow him to get to the market. So if the market's $11 million and you've got teams who have some flush cash in need of a tight end, you're probably going to lose him. You will. And then what other options did you have if Jarwin's gone, Schultz is gone? Sean McEwen?
Yeah, or Sprinkle, which we know. You can't go into the season with those being your starters.
So you don't have to give Schultz a long-term deal.
You don't have to.
It's not like I don't anticipate Schultz doing the Devontae Adams and say, "Hey, I ain't playing on no franchise tag."
Nah, he gonna take all that. He gonna take all that.
Schultz a 5th round pick.
Yeah, he gonna. What you say? 11 million?
Come on, might be hit or dance.
Yeah. Go ahead, sign that.
Sign that 11.
Where that paperwork at?
Right, we'll put this right here and then go back and play some more video games the rest of the day.
That's
so
true.
$11 million.
He's a huge gamer now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, guy went to Stanford. He ain't gonna sit around here and turn down $11 million. I mean, might as well take it, but. If you're the Cowboys, I think that's a smart move considering you're letting Cooper go. So let's at least have the tight end that we know our quarterback has a rapport with, and our coaching staff knows and understands. Yes, he's got some limitations in blocking, but this now falls upon them as an organization. Go find someone who can block.
Hopefully, Kellen can get him right. But so Spence, you had the franchise tag. What was it? 2 years?
Yes.
2 years in a row. Like, how did that process work? Like, I never got the opportunity to go through that franchise and how that thing works. So, like, when you were going through it, how did that work for your situation?
I was trying to get a long-term deal. I wanted to finish my career here. We just couldn't see eye to eye. Like I thought, I believed that was one thing, and they believed that was another thing. Okay. So it worked out because I ended up making what they were trying to sign me for, my signing bonus for the first year, and then the next year I end up getting signed again. So I had they're guaranteeing me 3 years for, I want to say $30 million. I made the 18 in the 2 years that I got franchised, and I got those 2 years guaranteed. If I could do it again, I probably would took the longer term deal, seeing what happened with my injuries and all that type of stuff. But it was a frustrating time for me, to say the least.
Okay. Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
So, more Cowboys news to get into here. Jaron Kearse, safety, free agent. So
I'm surprised. That's one I'm surprised that they didn't reach out to and try to get something on the books. Maybe they have, and we haven't heard of it yet. But to me, he was one of the more important players on this defense last year. He had the green dot, and you know about the green dot. That means you got to get everybody on the defense aligned and communicating and ready to go and on the same page. Yeah. And I feel like he did a great job of that. And it also allowed, we talked about it in previous shows, it also allowed Micah Parsons to become just a see ball, go get ball. Right. He didn't have to worry about, lining people up and getting the calls from the coaches. He just heard what he had to do. All right, let me go get ball, go see ball. So, I think Kearse, and plus Kearse played had heck of a season. He was, he was one of the main reasons that they were able to play so well on the defensive side of the ball. So I would be surprised if, with all the cap space they kind of freed up, if they didn't, reach out to him to try to get him done. I think he's one of the more important players on this defense.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like having those guys out there that can communicate to the rest of the defense, like it's something that you just don't see, like those intangibles, like with Cooper, like the double teams and things that he was bringing, like those are the things that you don't see, but it makes the team better.
Yes.
And you can't there's no analytics for that.
Exactly. It's not a stat.
There's no stat for it, so you can't really judge it, but it's invaluable. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
So this may be a case, and the Cowboys have done this before. All right, see what you can get and call us back.
Mm-hmm.
Because while Curse has value here, does his value translate to other teams in the same way?
Yeah. I think he's kind of a scheme guy. Because we've seen he's been in the league, what, like 6 years now, I believe?
Detroit, Minnesota. They said, we're good.
Yeah.
So that's the interesting type of situation here. And it'll be one thing, let's say Dan Quinn left. All right, let's say Dan Quinn got the job in Denver or got the job in Chicago. Then maybe it's a different story because then maybe they're bidding on him. But since Dan Quinn is back and no one else of significance from the defensive coaching staff has gone anywhere else, so maybe no one else views him in that fashion. So letting him go out on the market to see what he can get, I could understand that thought process. Bobby Wagner's name has come up a whole lot. Seattle let him go. You're talking about a guy who I believe will at least be on the ballot list for the Pro Football Hall of Fame when he's done.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he gets in, but you got at least has to be in the conversation.
If Luke's getting in, if Luke Kuechly gets in, he got to, because they were basically for 8 years the two best linebackers in the National Football League.
And Kuechly's another interesting guy.
Yeah.
You definitely have him on the ballot. He gets in the conversation.
Yes.
Getting in is a whole, as D Ware we've seen, that's a whole nother spectrum. It's a whole nother spectrum. But at least have your name talked about and get on the list. Definitely that kind of player here. A lot of folks want Bobby Wagner here, but let's be honest, there's not a lot of cash.
Yeah.
And
it's going to cost. It's going to cost you. I mean, just with the championships that he's won, the experiences that he has, the knowledge of the game. I mean, those types of things, those can be measured. So you're definitely gonna have to pay for that.
And he's been in, like you said, he's been in Quinn's system before when he was a DQ or DC over in Seattle. So he knows the guy's system. He can come in. He can take a lot of pressure off of those guys by getting them lined up in the right direction. He can play beside Parsons, or you can move Parsons down to the defensive line, let him do havoc there. So it's a veteran guy that a lot of people on this young defense can learn off of.
A lot of learning.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of leadership and what else guys bring to the room. And Bobby Wagner walks in with a ring, and to put a Bobby Wagner next to a Micah Parsons, the kind of leadership he can learn from, because we've seen what Micah has done in terms of going to your old teammate DeMarcus Ware, and just learning from that, and even Tank Lawrence with his career turnaround, going and talking to a DeMarcus Ware. So you bring in a guy like Bobby Wagner, man. There's the price that you pay for the player, but what kind of benefit do you get when a great young player watches a guy who's got a Hall of Fame-like career on a daily basis? I go back, and this is just me. The biggest mistake the late Bud Adams made when he owned his football team was drafting Vince Young but cutting Steve McNair. What he should have done was keep Steve McNair there and have Vince Young learn from Steve McNair.
Yeah.
Because the problem with Vince Young was never the problem. The problem was just he didn't know how to be a pro, the way you needed to be a pro.
Yeah.
And to watch a guy like McNair do it, because Vince had a hell of a lot of respect for him, I thought that was a thing that he could have done. But you try to save some money here, you save some money, and Vince was Rookie of the Year, and they won a playoff game, but still, what he could have learned from watching a pro. I just believe you look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers learned from him. You got to see what it was like for Brett Favre.
Like 3 years, yeah.
I mean, people right now talk about taking somebody in the first round for a quarterback. To me, I go over there to Green Bay. Here's a 2. Give me Jordan Love. Jordan Love been watching Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Before I see these quarterbacks I see right now, they talk about drafting. Like, these got question marks. Before I do a question mark there, go give me Jordan Love, who's been in the league 2 years, who when Aaron Rodgers was sitting out, got to run the offseason program, and just give me that guy. I just think there's something to be learned from great players. But you guys played, so you know better than me whether that guys.
I feel like it's the most important thing for a young player to do is to find an older guy that's been in it for a while, and just to see their routine, the things that they do on a weekly basis, how they recover, how they get ready for the game, and how they perform during the game. Like those things all go hand in hand. So having somebody in the locker room like that, like the Greg Ellis and the DeMarcus Wares and the Jason Wittens, like those guys are. You can't pay enough for them. Yeah,
Greg Ellis, boy, you talk about a guy who's just steady every day, man. I loved Greg Ellis.
Yeah.
Greg Ellis was, and I know people consistently talk about how the Cowboys took him instead of Randy Moss, but tell you what, if you could draft a Greg Ellis on your football team every year, you'd be a really good football team for a long time.
Facts.
Because this guy, I love what Mike Zimmer said. I don't have to worry about him on game day. Yep. He's going to do his job.
He's ready.
He's going to be where he is.
And when you get a guy like that, like a Wagner, it holds the defense to accountability.
Right.
I mean, I think, these penalties that we've seen happen throughout the season and came to bite us in the butt, during that playoff game, I think if you got a guy with his resume and just his stature, he'll get after guys and hold them accountable. And guys will be like, hey, we can't make this situation make this situation worse because we're hurting the team. Right. And if you get that type of leadership out there on the offensive side of the football, I think they have it, in that offensive line and some of their veteran players. But on the defense, it was relatively extremely young. I mean, you had the D-Law, but he was hurt the majority of the year.
It's hard to have that. If you're not out there playing, it's hard to tell guys how
hard.
to. I mean,
hard to have voice.
Yeah, hard to have a voice when you're not doing it. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's spend our last 10 minutes of this Players Lounge podcast brought to you by Hotels.com talking about the offensive line. Lel Collins reportedly told by the Dallas Cowboys he can seek a trade. So Collins, if he's a post-June 1 cut, saves $10 million under the 2022 cap here. They clearly love Terrence Steele, so at this point in time, I just feel once they come telling you to go seek a trade, they or they ask you for money.
Done. Yeah,
right. We got other plans. Yeah. So, your thoughts on Collins not being here?
To me, it's kind of a sticky situation because he has no one to blame pretty much but himself. Because, if he would have came back, didn't that whole situation where he got suspended for 5 games and all that stuff, we would have never heard about Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele played the year before, and he didn't play at a very good level. And if Collins was here, we would have never seen Terrence Steele. And this whole situation might not have ever happened. So to me, Collins has to blame a little bit, has to put the blame on himself for being in this situation. But for me, I'm confused because I'm like, hold on. Collins, they're asking him to seek a trade. What about Tyron Smith? Like, he's been a very, very great player for a very long time. But these past 3 seasons, he's missed on average 5, 6, 7 games out there. And no one's, asking this guy to, hey, we need you to, rework this deal. I mean, I know he doesn't have a high cap hit because he signed that super team-friendly deal. But are you really going to count on 10 games every year from your starting left tackle? Or do you think you should put something in there or somebody in there to, help bolster that line or at least give him some competition where
he's a made man.
I understand, but it's like, how's he helping the team?
It's like when Flozell was here, baby. Flozell was a made man. Jerry, these left tackles under Jerry, man, they're made men. And you may say, man, I'm ready to move on. He probably held on to Flozell 2-3 years longer than he needed to, but that's how Jerry feels about these left tackles. So you and McCray need to move off that.
But who are we going to do when he goes down for 5 games?
Tyron is here. This is about Collins and them feeling that they've got a better.
You going to put Tyron Secchi over there?
I don't know. But at this point in time, here's what we do know. They like Terrence Steele. And Terrence Steele
rightfully so.
He played well at right tackle.
Yes, he did.
And when they tried him at left, it wasn't the same. Yeah. He's a right tackle. Mm-hmm. So they're going to say right tackle, we'll move on from Collins. Collins is not a left. If Collins was a left, they'd be talking about it. They don't feel he's a left tackle. They don't feel he's a guard. Talked about the bend on him. So they're going to move on from Collins. And I don't know what they can get, but in this league, I mean, if you're Cincinnati Bengals, why not offer up a 2?
You could.
Your dude just got, 51 sacks? 9 sacks.
They need to
Titans.
shore up their offensive line ASAP.
Right. So I mean, if you are the Bengals, what are you waiting on? You should have been there. You should have been sent U-Haul on down here to come get him and take him on to Cincinnati.
They're gonna get another skill player. Watch
these points.
I mean, right now, I mean that's the key.
Yeah.
You know, you may have won a Super Bowl if you could have protected your quarterback here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a market for college. Denver's a team that was rumored out there. We saw what they did when they got Ron Leary. Ron Leary left here because they got Collins, and Ron Leary had a really nice career up in there in Denver. So to me, somebody's going to get Collins. You're going to get a motivated player. I can't imagine this is not embarrassing to him that your team's basically giving up on you and just saying, "Oh, seek a trade." You lost your job to an undrafted dude from Texas Tech.
You got to look at it. I mean, when he came back, it wasn't like his job was back immediately. Right. I mean, he was playing fullback for a game or two. So it just goes to show you what the team really thinks about you. And if I'm him, I'm saying, okay, let me see what my market's like out there. Obviously I'm not valued here. But like I said at the beginning, he has no one else to blame but himself. But Spence, what's your thoughts on this whole offensive line? How they basically were playing fantasy football, mismatching people here and there. We had some weak links.
Yeah,
the line is aging. So
it is.
Thoughts?
I feel like a lot for the last 2, I would say, years. I feel like they're living off the hype of the 3 previous years.
Yeah, I would agree.
So they're living off of that, thinking that they were what they weren't. Mm-hmm. So, and this game has a way of showing you who you really are. So, and that's really what's happened over the last 2 years. And they've had to find some way to be better, be more consistent, be more available. You know what I mean? Like you were saying with Tyron, like they got to find players that are going to be out there and consistent, because those groups, they work as one. You know what I mean? They have to have that continuity to be able to move those other big linemen on the other side of the ball. Indeed. So it's I feel like they're in a really tough spot. They got a few different positions they need to fill up there, and they need backups behind those guys because they are going to be hurt. So, I mean,
it's tough.
It's tough. It's real tough. So they just gotta find a way. And having Tyron, I feel like, is a good thing, just because of the player that he has been, and like we were talking about early, like he's been in those games. He's gone up against a lot of different types of players. So his mind is a little bit higher up than where his body probably is right now, but he has that knowledge that he can instill onto those players. You know what I mean?
Having that veteran presence.
Exactly. And like you said, with Steele playing on the right side, he came over to the left side. Like, it's a whole nother monster over there. But just being able to do those, being able to go over there and lose, but you still get better by playing on that side and then going back to this side. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Collins, next guy, to probably be gone. And with the league year coming up here, I can see something getting done. And obviously, teams, look, somebody's going to want him. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're trading Cooper for $20 million, this guy's making 10. He's a starter in the league. There's just too many teams who have offensive line issues out here. Oh, yeah. So I expect a deal to go down for him. And to me, I would need a 3 or a 4 from the Cowboys, at least.
Yeah, it's some type of value. Don't let them just walk out the door. Yeah. You got to bring something back to the table.
Doing something.
Yeah,
because if he's gone, right tackle. I mean, I'm presuming Connor Williams is going to be gone in free agency. That's your right guard or left guard? Left guard. So, I mean, and what are we going to do at center? Do we believe Biotish is the answer at center? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on this offensive line
up front.
A lot of them.
You got to shore that up before the season starts, because that's probably, if not the most important, one of the most important positions on the field.
Look, this is an offseason of a lot of change, and they're making moves, and we'll keep talking about it right here on the Players Lounge podcast, but there's so much to go. You got Tom Brady, who's back.
I couldn't believe I seen that yesterday. I was like, what?
Hey, man, dude, tired of that car line in school. We tired of picking them kids in that car line.
Honestly, kids must be bad or something.
This dude been in one too many parent-teacher conferences already.
He's at the house for 2 weeks.
Wife to put him to work.
He's like, you know what, I'm going. I'm going back. Talking about some unfinished business. We got 7 rings.
I spend more time with my kids, and then they need to be put for what? I got to do what again? The Dad's Club. Why do I need to join the dad's club at school? Yes, you do. So yeah,
I gotta put these kids to sleep. Yeah. What? All right, I'm going back.
Tom Brady said. But the Cowboys are going to face the Buccaneers Jerry World this year. Deshaun Watson is going to apparently entertain some meetings from Carolina and New Orleans. He's got a non-compete. Carolina, New Orleans.
Would I bring Peyton back to New Orleans?
NFC East. NFC teams. Philadelphia is the name of another NFC team. So here's Deshaun in the AFC. It could be popping over this way here. So it's going to be interesting to see what
AFC is loaded with quarterbacks.
Well, now that you got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell, Joe, what was it? Joe, what's his name? Not Joe Brady. Joe Burrow. Herbert. Wilson. I mean, got Mahomes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No. Oh, by the way, we talk about Carson Wentz coming to Washington.
He's back. He's back.
Oh yeah,
he's back. What are they? Are they Commanders or the
Commanders?
Commanders. There we go.
So first off, all right. So I was looking online, and it showed that the Vegas odds for Washington went down. Yes, they went down. Vegas odds. They're like, oh, this dude. Yes. That's how little they think it meant. The odds went down. I just don't understand how you can commit $26 million to a guy who you keep asking him about a year that he had one good year, and you still holding on to that like, hey, man. We think he can go back and get that one good year. No.
But he wasn't even a quarterback for the whole year, was he?
No, he got hurt. And that's the thing I crack up on me. Where else? Who else do we in the league talk about, hey, man, he was good that 1 year, 4-5 years ago.
That's true.
We think we can get that one good year. No. The dude who said, I can make him that guy again, just said, you got to go.
You're right.
Even Frank Wright, no.
I understand. He pretty much melted down those last two games, but the season he had a decent season. I mean, it was 27-7. It's TD and interception. Decent.
Did you hear the owner? He's like, ain't nobody coming back here who ain't vaccinated. So you know who he was talking about. Carson Wentz. The GM up there. Man. Well, we got to look at all our options. So the GM is like, man, your GM is basically, he did it. Yeah. That was Frank's guy. So
Chris Ballard out there.
Right. So now Frank is like, hey man, I did. I mean, basically he came out there and said, I stuck my neck out for him. Now, when you say I stuck my neck out for you, it's always with like, hey man, you saw I stuck my neck out for you. You did me like you did. Nobody ever says it in a positive way. Hey man, I stuck my neck out for you. They do it in a negative way. Hey man, this is just how you do me.
Because if you did well,
I'm not here for you.
You got to look at it though, at the same time though. It's like how many quarterbacks are there out there that have that. Yeah, I mean, just that.
They missed Russell Wilson. They tried and they missed him.
Okay, but for $26 million?
Oh, yeah, that's a steep hit for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's
and you had to give up picks.
What's the average? What's the
in the 30s, mid-30s.
What's the quarterback? What they making this year?
I mean, they averaging 30, but this dude ain't no 30.
That's underneath, though.
And plus,
he's underneath the market.
Plus, you still have to give up picks.
Yeah.
You're giving up at least 2 threes for a dude that, all right, see, Spence, this is me. When your boy who stuck his neck out for you, 1 year, he like that. The owners, I mean, too many people were like, nah, man, he got to go.
Right.
I can't do it. I mean, if you go, we've seen folks mesh it together. I mean, fine, call Jameis Winston. I mean, there's people you can call.
That's right.
Jameis 30 for 30? Jameis gives you 30 for 30.
There's not a lot, though. That's all I'm saying. There's not a lot.
And the quarterback class this year is not as strong as it's been in years past.
New Orleans they paid Jameis 1.5 last year. 1.5.
Get that ACL.
You throwing $5 million on one, he might run down like, that's got it real quick.
Man, threw 30 interceptions. I can't.
I'm just saying, man.
30,
I mean,
30 interceptions.
Okay, now I come back. You gave up at least a 3. Why aren't you calling Green Bay for Jordan Love?
He doesn't have that.
He don't got the resume.
He don't have the proven. He hasn't been out there.
What's Carson showing you?
I'm not saying that he's showing anything.
He did go 27 for 7
but
last year.
You won these $6 million. You can't beat Jacksonville. Last game of the year.
I will say
last game of the year.
He melted those last two.
You know we need this, right?
Yeah.
We're going to the playoffs, right?
Jacksonville, a hard place to play.
It is. It is a hard place.
Everybody expects to win.
Okay, $26 million, man.
I did win 1 year there. I did.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Y'all was balling when you was
We
there.
did. And then the next year we was trash.
Anthony Spencer, man, we appreciate you.
Thanks,
coming
Spence, for coming through, man. Without a doubt.
Filling in for Danny McCray, Barry Church, I'm Newy Scruggs for producer Chris Beam. We appreciate everybody for checking out the Players' Lounge. We'll do it again next Monday, 10 a.m. Central Time, right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!